What's up, my juice lovers? Welcome to the Cold Pressed Truth. This is Charlie Wetlaufer. I know it's been a while since I've done a juicy news update, but there is something very juicy going on in the industry this week. Before I get into that, you might notice that I'm in a new space here. I finally got an apartment in Santa Monica, something I've been wanting to do my whole life. So, very grateful for that. Stoked to be here. And I still have my place in Buffalo, so you'll see me maybe switch back and forth when I'm doing videos, depending on where I am that week. Now, on to the update. So, last week, at least two companies I know of have reported to me that they received cease and desist letters for using the term wellness shot on their juice shots. So, these letters come from a dietary supplement company called Threshold Enterprises Limited. And so this is my article that I wrote on the matter here. So I'm just going to kind of be going through this. So the letter demands that companies immediately cease using the term, enter into a written agreement, and pay the cost for resolution, which generally, if the matter is resolved in a straightforward manner and without lengthy discussions, are less than $5,000. Okay, so they're basically saying, hey, this is our trademark. If you stop using it now and you sign this agreement that says you won't use it again, I'm assuming, and you pay us a few $1,000s, then we'll let the matter rest and we'll go away. So the company that sent the letter is Threshold Enterprises Limited. According to their website, they are a wholesale distributor of dietary supplements and healthcare products to the natural foods industry and healthcare professionals. So it's their brand. They own this brand called Source Naturals. And they sell this wellness shot. It's a dietary supplement. It's not juice. And what's interesting about it, so I did search the trademark database. Okay. You can do that at uspto.gov. And so they own two trademarks. They own one wellness shot and one wellness shots. So they do indeed own the trademarks since 2013, which is what is that? About more than 5 years ago, not quite 6 years ago, which is interesting because there is a 5-year limit for companies to challenge a trademark based on likelihood of confusion. So it seems like maybe they waited until that 5-year time has passed. So you can't challenge a trademark now for likelihood of confusion. There are some other reasons you can, which I'll get into in a minute. So registered in 2013. Here's the interesting part is it's registered in International Class 5. Now, I did some research. Before I get into all this, let me just say I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this as legal advice. This is all just my personal opinion, okay? So, let me see where it is here. All right, so they have these different classes, right? Class 5, let me go back up to the top here. All right, class 5 is for pharmaceuticals, medical and veterinary preparations, sanitary preparations for medical purposes, dietetic food and substances adapted for medical and veterinary use, food for babies, dietary supplements for human beings and animals, plasters, materials for dressings. I think they mean like casts, like dressings for medical supplies, materials for stopping teeth, dental wax. I don't know what they mean by stopping teeth. Why would you want to stop teeth? Anyway, disinfectants, preparations for destroying vermin. So I guess that's like rat poisons and stuff. Fungicides, herbicides. So notice that in class 5 does not include juice or beverages. Juice or beverages would be in a different class altogether. So if I do a quick search here for juice, that takes us to class 32. Class 32 is beers, non-alcoholic beverages, mineral and aerated waters, fruit beverages and fruit juices, syrups, and other non-alcoholic preparations for making beverages. So why this is interesting is because just because you have a registered trademark in one class does not mean you have it protected in any other classes, right? For example, Good Nature, we have a registered trademark. I don't remember what class it's in, but whatever applies to food service equipment. But there are other companies called Good Nature. There's a beer company, and they're in class 32. There's a rat trap company. They're in a different class altogether, and we all have registered trademarks in the trademark database, and we don't have a right to tell them not to use it unless we could prove consumer confusion, right? So I would imagine that Threshold is taking the stance that although we're in a different class, the products are so similar, there's a likelihood of confusion that a consumer would see your wellness shot and think it's our product because we have a registered trademark as a wellness shot. So now you're using our marketing dollars to sell your product. Then they could try to show some damages from that, from people thinking they're buying one product with buying another. Yada, yada, yada. Now, that's definitely not as easy for them as just being in the same class. Like if they had the wellness shot in class 32, then they'd have a much stronger case here and their demand would hold some more weight. All right. So, in my opinion, their demand has a few issues. One is the one I just talked about being a different trademark class. Number two, the mark itself, wellness shot, in my opinion, is descriptive. And now, why is this a problem? This is a problem because you're not supposed to be able to trademark descriptive terms, right? So, from the government website, uspto.gov, this is how they explain it. Merely descriptive and deceptively misdescriptive. The examining attorney will refuse registration of a mark as merely descriptive if it immediately describes an ingredient, quality, characteristic, function, feature, purpose, or use of the specified goods or services. And then they give a couple examples. They say, for example, the mark creamy would be merely descriptive for yogurt, and the mark world's best bagels would be merely descriptive for bagels. So, does the term wellness shot fall into this merely descriptive category? I think it does. Why? Because if it immediately describes, there's a couple in here that I think it could fall under, right? It could definitely fall under characteristic, right? So a shot is a small serving of liquid, right? That's definitely a term used in many different industries. So you could say a wellness shot is a characteristic of the shot. It's a shot for your wellness. Or how about the purpose of the shot? It's a shot for your wellness. That's the purpose of the shot. Then you could even argue that it's a characteristic of the shot, right? It's a wellness shot, or function of the shot. It's wellness. So I believe that one could challenge this. So if you're a juice company and you get this letter, you could do something called you could assert an affirmative defense. Again, this is from the government website. By the way, one of the best things about living in LA is having access to Erewhon markets. They make raw cold pressed juice, all organic. They've been doing it for years, I think since probably 2012 or something, but awesome juice. They're not paying me to say that. I do really love their juice. Anyway, so the government says if you are already a defendant in an infringement lawsuit, you may assert an affirmative defense and or a counterclaim against the plaintiff challenging the validity of the plaintiff's trademark. So you could basically counterclaim and say, I'm challenging the validity of your trademark because it's merely descriptive, okay? So I believe Threshold is putting themselves at risk by going after these juice companies on having their trademark completely invalidated. Again, I'm not a lawyer, it's just my personal opinion. Now, and the third issue I see with their demand and their trademark is that, in my opinion, the term wellness shot has arguably become a generic term for a small serving of cold pressed juice. Now, why does this matter? Because there's something that can happen to trademarks is when they become a generic term for something, they can the trademarks can be canceled and they're no longer protected. Examples of terms that used to be protected trademarks but have become what they call genericized include aspirin, thermos, and flip phone, and there's many others. You can find them on Wikipedia if you want to do more research. But basically, aspirin used to be a brand, and now it's just the generic term for that drug. And their trademark was challenged, and the court agreed that it's now just a generic term. Okay, thermos, same deal. Flip phone, I believe it was Samsung that owned the trademark flip phone, and they probably sued someone for using the term, and that company countersued and challenged the trademark, and now it's been genericized. So now anyone can use the term flip phone. Now, that's being said, I don't know how high the bar is for proving a term's generic. Like, it could be very hard to do that. You may have to prove that the average person on the street, when they hear the term wellness shot, thinks of a shot of juice and doesn't think of Source Natural's wellness shot, right? And I think that's basically the argument is you have to say, when you hear the word wellness shot, do you think of Source Natural's wellness shot or do you just think of a shot of juice? And if you could prove that the general public just thinks that any shot of juice is a wellness shot, then that's probably how they determine if that term has become genericized. So for those reasons, I do believe that threshold doesn't have a very strong case. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. So if you receive one of these letters, don't take my advice. Call an IP attorney. Get some advice of a professional. So, what should you do if you're a juice company and you're using the term wellness shot on your label? In my opinion, you have a few options, but definitely consult an attorney before you make a decision. Whatever you do, if you are using the term wellness shot, you should decide how you're going to handle it now instead of waiting until you get a letter because you might as well just figure it out now and call a lawyer if you plan to continue using the term. So the few options that I see, number one, just stop using the term now and wait until you see how this becomes resolved. I do think that eventually their trademark will become invalidated or canceled, but who knows how long that will take and if that's going to happen at all. It could be 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. I have no idea. So if you want to just alleviate the risk, just stop using the mark now. If they end up sending you a letter even after you stop using it, just say, look, we already stopped using the mark. Then they'll probably just go away and not make you pay them any money. Depends on how much of a hard line they want to take. Number two, you could continue using the term, but plan on complying with their demands if you do get a letter, right? So sign their agreement, pay their cost of resolution, a few $1,000s, stop using the term. If you're a small local juice bar in a small town somewhere, they may not even know you exist. So the risk of getting a letter might be pretty small. However, one of the companies I know that got a letter is a local juice bar. So it's definitely possible. So just know that you are at risk no matter what size you are. Third option, continue using the term, but plan on fighting them back with an affirmative defense and challenge the trademark like I've already shown that we could do. So if you're going to do that, definitely find a qualified IP attorney. Like that's not something you want to do on your own. And also the process could take a while and be really expensive. A good lawyer is going to be anywhere from $250 and up, $350, $450, $600, $700, depending on, how specialized they are and how much experience they have. And lawyers definitely know how to rack up the hours. Trust me. I spend a ton of money on lawyers at Good Nature dealing with trademark issues, filing patents, filing trademarks, defending trademarks, some other stuff we've had to deal with. So, they bill you. They find ways to write very long emails that take them an hour to write. This will bill you for that. They'll bill you for phone calls. They'll get other lawyers involved on conference calls and bill you for all of their time. Like you'll get these bills and you're like, what the hell? Like, how did I rack up $60,000 in lawyer fees, in a month or whatever? So trust me, it can pile up really fast. So if you are going to challenge a trademark, just be prepared to spend tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even six figures. If you're taking it all the way to court. They may just go away. Honestly, if you threaten them with challenging the trademark, they might just be like, all right, never mind. If I was them, that's what I would do. But who knows? They may be hell bent on protecting their trademark. And then there's a fourth option of just ignoring the letter altogether. But as I say in my article, I think this seems like a bad choice. Probably not a smart thing to do, but it is an option. So if you're a juice company and you have received a letter, do me a favor and click on the link. I'm going to post a link to a form. I'd like you to fill out a form and let me know that you've also received one of these letters. I'm trying to figure out how far reaching the cease and desist campaign is of theirs. And maybe there's an opportunity to join together and fight this thing as a group instead of everyone doing it individually. So I'll post a link for that below. You can always contact me directly. Best way, just send me a message on Instagram, CWJuice on Instagram. And if you found this video useful, please give me a thumbs up so I know you're watching and that you want to see more videos like this. And subscribe to my channel. I will update whenever there's anything important going on in the industry. And so that's what I got for you today, guys. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, juice.